Right, I've not done one of these for a while, but I was reading in a music magazine last week that it's the 20th anniversary of this year. It's I mean, I didn't listen to a lot of music for quite a few years because other things happened, and I really started getting back into music when I heard a song by Pure Reason Revolution called Bright Ambassadors of Morning on Mark Radcliffe's Radio 2 show, which he used to do late at night after he left Radio 1. I kind of got obsessed with it, and I think I've spoken about Pure Reason Revolution on here before, but they kind of led me back into getting into music in a biggish kind of way after a layoff of a few years. And I bought tickets to go and see Rush. They were doing their first UK tour for over a decade, and I'd been to the last UK tour they did before that, so I bought these tickets. And as part of the tie-in for this tour, Classic Rock magazine did a special on prog kind of rock, and I bought it because the Rush were on the cover. So I bought it, and there was an article in there about this band called Porcupine Tree. Well, I'd never heard of this band before. And the album, their latest album that they'd got out at that point, was a couple of years old, and it's called In Absentia, which is kind of a prog metal thing. A bit of a different direction for them at the time, because before that they're a bit more kind of ethereal, I suppose. We're still with a rock edge, but so they bought out this album called In Absentia, which had metal riffs and things on it. And then this is the first album they brought out after I'd become a fan, and they released 3 kind of albums in a row that were all in the similar sort of vein. There was In Absentia, this one, and then one called Fear of a Blank Planet. But this one I think holds a special place with me because it was the one that they released after I'd become a fan, so I was looking forward to them releasing it. And it was made for a subsidiary of Atlantic Records, and there was being pushed at the time to be a really big thing in the rock world, which never kind of happened for them, unfortunately. Maybe because there's a couple of songs on here that were written to order, like it wouldn't be the sort of thing they would naturally do. Like on here, track 2 Shallow, and maybe track 4 Halo, they are like all out metal songs, but they still had kind of that prog kind of sensibility. I mean, when I talk about prog metal, it should be the sort of thing that I naturally gravitate to, because I like prog rock and I like heavy metal, but sometimes it kind of veers into Dream Theater territory. And if you don't know who Dream Theater are, they're this dreadful American band who try and fit 10,000 notes into like 5 seconds of music. You know, they play bass guitars with 6 strings, and it's not for me. That's the nicest way to put it, I suppose. But this is a bit more, this doesn't particularly rely on flashy showmanship. I mean, their drummer on this album, Gavin Harrison, is phenomenal, but it's not all tricksy time changes and, you know, let's all show off at how fantastic we are. It's creating more of a mood rather than let's fit 10,000 riffs into 10 minutes of music. And they got some guests on, like Deadwing, the title track, that features Adrian Belew, who was David Bowie's guitarist in the late 70s, and he plays that fantastic guitar at the end of Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads, and then he ended up in the early 80s lineup of King Crimson. And also Michael Ackerfeldt of Opeth is on here, the Swedish prog metal band who I like also, because they're not like really into flashy stuff. It's more creating a mood or a vibe. There's some long tracks. I mean, there's some long tracks on here. Arriving Somewhere But Not Here is about 12 minutes long, and it's just like a bit of a groove. Mellotron Scratch is quite a long one, with a really understated guitar solo that's almost buried in the mix. Open Car is about as raunchy as as Porcupine Tree ever got. I have just had a look at the lyrics just to make sure that they were talking about what I thought they were talking about. So yeah, I really like this album. Out of the three that I've mentioned, In Absentia, Deadwing, and The Fear of a Blank Planet, this is often cited as the weakest of them. But I think because it came out after I'd become a fan, it's kind of, it will always be special to me. And after I'd started really getting back into music as well, I started getting excited about music again thanks to this album. So if you like prog and you like metal, or if you know, you might want to give it a go. But it's not all out heavy metal. I mean, track 3, Lazarus, that's a very mellow kind of ballad. It's very, the piano is very heavily featured in that. Oh, I must also say that a member of Porcupine Tree is Richard Barbieri, who was in Japan. So it seems a bit odd that a member of those new romantic art rockers would end up playing heavy metal. But there we are. He's still a member of Porcupine Tree, so it obviously works for them. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Check it out.